Brick by brick, ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing? We're back. We had some technical difficulties. You know, I got sick last week. We got all kinds of stuff going on. We had life going on. What's up, JDam? You got JDam, myself, Thadeacon. I'm here, host, co-host. Brick by brick, man. It's a lot going on because we got state basketball going on here in Washington as well. We're getting our guests up and you know, we're talking about our guests and who we're about to have on next and who we want to share game. Fonzo, shout out to Fonzo Anderson. He's now in Chile and he's hooping. He just hooped the other day. Actually, I need to go and put that up on the channel. He went crazy. Yeah. Anyway, what's up, JDam? How you doing, man?
Man, good, doing real good. Today's been a cool. Good and bad day. Had some racist stuff happen this morning. Already told you about, and then I closed another house today. So I mean, it's been.
Oh, you closed today?
Yeah, I closed North 11th today.
Oh, okay, that's what's up, man. Tell us about that process. Like, when you close on that, like how does that work? Like, do you just hand the keys over or whatever? Like, if someone's never even closed on a house before.
So yeah, on closing day, I mean, it comes down to escrow. They'll reach out to everyone, let you know when it's being released. I mean, buyers, sellers all signed earlier this week, but on closing day, I represented the seller, so it was more, and they have a smart lock. So usually I would leave keys in the lock box for the buying agent, or just bring them to them, or leave one of them something. So I give my lock box off, and I just leave the rest of the keys on the counter. But there's a smart lock at this house, so it's like, hey, here's the code. All the rest of the keys are on the counter, and then as soon as we're closed, everything's already been cleared out and everything, so they're ready to move in and start the new chapter. So it's always fun.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Yeah, I mean, I know what's going on. I just want to make sure for other people, like, that's super dope, and congrats, man. Y'all finna go out to y'all finna go out and celebrate. Y'all going out to get a steak or something? Cause
man, I don't know. I mean, the fam's all sick right now. Everyone's been fighting a little sickness, but we'll probably eat good tomorrow. Order something for the fight, you know.
For the fight, man. We might as well just jump ahead to that. The fight. So Tank's fighting Roach tomorrow.
Yep.
Like, who you got in the fight tomorrow, man?
Man, Tank versus everybody. It's even
Tank.
At 135 or 140, it's bad. Tank by KO. There's no one that could mess with him. I think Roach is good though. But
what round you think? You think like 6, 7, like in the mid rounds?
I think later. I think that it's gonna be like a competitive fight the first 6 rounds, and I
agree.
Tank gonna wear him down later on. And I think it's gonna be either probably late, like maybe 10, 11, or I don't know. I think he's gonna drop. He's gonna wear him down.
I'm looking at 9. I think 9. I haven't seen a lot of Roach, but I just feel like, you know, he seems like there's familiarity there, you know what I'm saying? And it seems like they're tapped in a little bit. So I don't think I think he's gonna need to figure him out first and foremost. They need to figure out their dance, maybe catch him slipping on one of them lefts, you know what I'm saying? Like, but 9, 10, somewhere in there.
No, yeah.
We'll see.
Exactly.
Yeah, but man, let's talk about Pitino in these comments about the recruiting, man. Like, so Rick Pitino, and I don't have the article right here, but Rick Pitino basically said that he's not recruiting. They're not recruiting seniors in high school.
Yeah.
So
he straight up said it. He's like, hey, we don't recruit high schoolers. They're strictly transfer portal.
Damn. So. And you know what, like and this is what I was saying is before I actually knew this, like, because I would ask my boy who's a D1 coach, and I said, like, are you guys recruiting? I was like, because I noticed he wasn't going on recruiting trips as much anymore, and I was like, are you guys do you even go on recruiting trips anymore? And he was just like, I mean, not really, unless it's somebody that's really nice. Like, we're in the portal, man. Like, yeah. That's where we're at, because why would I go for a senior in high school when I can go for, you know, Pitino just is the first one to really say it adamantly out loud, I feel like, but it's been there forever.
No, yeah. What does that do for some of those players that aren't top recruits though? I mean, if your dream school is to go to, you know, a St. John's or something like that, it's like, okay, well, I can't go there out of high school now. Like, let's say you're let's not say unranked, but you're 100th in the country, which is still a great player, and now St. John's don't care about you, you know? So It's like I got to go to another school and then I have to transfer. Hopefully I have a good year and prove myself. It's just the whole recruiting dynamic is completely changed, which
it's on its head. And it's not, I think right now you can do one of two things. You can like complain about it, or you can like figure out how you're going to navigate it, because it's not changing. So it's like, they're not going to sit there and be like, you know what? I think we're going to change. Nah, bro. Like, I was actually just talking about that with the kid this morning that I was shooting with. He's a sophomore. He has some good talent. Abdul, shout out to Abdul at Breakfast Club. And we went through a little shooting workout, and I was just telling him all the little things, you know, that I would do if I was coaching a kid, which I've had before, but let's put him through a little workout, myself through a workout. And I was explaining to him afterward, like, you have 2 years now to hone your game even more, because after those 2 years, everybody at TCC, for example, they still got 4 years. Yeah. So your competition, you have to be better than the guy in JUCO that's been there for 2 years.
Exactly.
Like, and if you're not, then you're going to junior college after senior year in high school.
Sure.
So that's how I look at it. I'm like, so you still get the 4 years after that, though. I actually like that. I feel like it extends someone's playing career if they want to. You have time to get your degree in the different time frame that you might, because not everyone's going to go pro, you know? So like maybe you can take a few more classes and you might have a better chance of graduating, because now you have, and the schools get more money from everybody and more FTE funding from whatever. So, I mean, everybody wins kind of in this situation, in my opinion.
Johnny, with even JUCO stuff, is let's say for NWAC, there's always going to be players that are 25-year-old freshmen already too, though.
Yeah.
So are they going to have the same type of rules for them where, like, okay, these 2 years didn't count, and you still have 4 years going into a D2, now you're...
Yeah, that's true.
8?
That's good.
Because
niggas gonna have grandkids in playing at Duke.
Facts. That's what I'm saying. Like, because I remember, I think when I first, fresh 18, 19, like, you can see the difference for an 18, 19-year-old and a 20.
Oh, yeah.
It's different when you're 21, upperclassman. Like, none of that matters. But as a freshman playing against, I remember some of the better players in our league were older. They were 23, 24, 25. And we had a dude in even my college that was like 30 years old getting buckets. He played like 8 years of pro baseball and then came back to his hometown to play college, and he was like 6'8", 6'8" shooter, like cold.
Here's a hot take. This is coming out of left field, man, and I know people aren't gonna make the connection here, but I was just thinking, okay, I know people are up in arms about trans athletes, right? And follow me here, follow me. I know the data says that a quarter of female college students are sexually assaulted. All right, a quarter have reported. There's probably more, because that's the report. So a quarter of females that touch college campuses are sexually assaulted. Okay. There's 10 transgender athletes that are identified out of 500,000 in the NCAAs. Okay. So that's a fact. That's just data. And there's probably more that are unidentified, but that's just what the data says right now. And for all the hubbub about that, about the transgender athletes, I feel like it's just misdirected energy, because one, you have a quarter of all females that go to school are sexually assaulted. That's number one. Number two, on this thread about having older dudes on campus now that they got 4 years. So think you got 2 years and now you got 4 years. So that's a 24 to 25-year-old, because let's say you redshirt 1 year, you get hurt. Now you got a 25-year-old on campus with 18-year-olds.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
So I would, if it's me, Dave Jones, I would be concerned about that if I had a daughter. Yeah. That's me personally. Oh, yeah. If I had a daughter, I'm not saying I would be over all crazy about it, but I'm just saying you're going to have older men on college campuses now as a result of this rule.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's getting enough attention.
Yeah, facts.
I don't. Like, for how much attention, because I got people in my DMs like, no men and women's sports. I'm like, bro, when have you seen that? Like, I haven't seen it. Have you? No. Oh, well, why are you all mad, bro? Like, that's getting mad at the boogeyman. Like, but I do know that a quarter of females are sexually assaulted. I do know that we're going to have 25 and 26-year-old men on campus with 18-year-olds.
No, yeah.
And we're
Fact.
talking
Oh,
about pedophilia and all this stuff. Like, I
exactly.
mean, I don't know. I just feel like we move the goalpost a lot when it comes
Oh,
to
yeah.
like what we like to
Exactly.
talk about.
Hey,
Anyway.
speaking of a little bit off topic, we might say this for another pod. But when I was at Wilson, we had a transfer student that came to hoop. I'm not gonna say the names of people that brought them the kid over, but
Mm-hmm.
he was probably like 6'3", a little older. You know, we used to have like the Midnight Madness type stuff. He used to always pull up, you know, wear a hood. He wasn't gonna start for us, but he was going to be our sixth man. We had a squad, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah, y'all had a crazy squad.
This is when I'm trying to think what they took at state, but this is when we had like you know, Emmett, Nate, all these guys. So we had a squad. We got one of the players on the team like didn't really talk that much, do whatever. Had bounce. He had a story about how he just moved from, you know, Texas type stuff.
Okay.
For I think he said, you know, something happened with the floods down there, moved out here. We got a email from a coach out at Auburn, like, this kid is not in high school. This
no.
This kid played football for us back in this time, and then he came to our school, this other school, and then tried to play at them, and he's been bounced around like every 4 years trying to play.
Wow.
He came somehow like transferred to Wilson as a junior, not even a senior. And he had documents, all of his stuff was perfect, and comes out, he's damn near my age as the coach. Maybe not to that extent, but he's, you know, upper 20s, and he was like dating or talking to like a freshman at the
Damn,
and what's crazy is like we got the email, and I remember Howard like, wait, what? Like, he showed us, and then I was like, hey, he ended up texting the kid like, hey, you gotta come meet us in the gym. And this is preseason. We didn't play any games yet or nothing. And the kid ghosted him. We never seen him again.
Dang. He trying to finesse. He trying to really get in the
he's trying to get out the 28-year-old junior.
He ain't even getting out the mud at all. He's getting it out the crib. Like, he's literally getting it out of the playpen.
Bro, like, imagine. But he wasn't. What's crazy about it, he wasn't even going to start for us. So Hope Dreams is gone.
you gotta be weird to like. I'm sorry, I don't know, bro. But and he probably may be a cool dude or whatever. But I just feel like you got to be different upstairs to want to be hooping with high schoolers when you're that old, bro. I'm sorry, I don't know.
If you're in your 20s and you just want to be in high school and be in hoop games, like, I can't understand how.
What are you talking about?
But you know, it's not the thing about even thinking about it back now is like, it's not like he was doing it himself. Like, there's people helping him out get around places.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, someone else did those documents for him. And,
yep, 100%.
And was trying to
100%.
you know, get him places. Cause I remember the people that was coming, hey, there's a good transfer, we're trying to have him come here play for you guys, and it's like, oh, all right, well, cool. Yeah. And it's like, all right, but thinking back, like, just some weirdos in general.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Well, I'm gonna it's an interesting time. We'll see how it plays out. The whole, you know, recruiting and for actually 6 years now of college hoop. If you really wanted to, cats could be in there 6 years doing their thing. So, that'll be interesting. We're gonna switch topics here a little bit. The markets are dumping, man. Let's talk a little bit about the markets. Like, so as of late, like, let's see. I'll bring up Bitcoin. I brought it up last time, but Bitcoin today is at 84,000. It dipped down to like 70. It dipped down under 80 the other day. Yesterday it dipped down under 80 for the first time in I don't know how long. So the market's dumped, man. And I think a lot of it is about, you know, the president's, you know, verbiage and tone and words at this point. All the markets are shook, not just crypto, but S&P 500. I know Tesla's was down like 8% or something like that. You had stocks down. I just feel like today he was talking with Zelensky and they had that meeting today, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen that. And this bull is sitting up in here talking about World War III. He just mentions the word the words World War III. I'm like, bro, you
Yeah.
can't just say that as the
You can't just,
president.
you can't just
You
throw
can't
that out.
just do
Yeah,
that, man. Like, and then, he's talking about tariffs, and the tariffs are coming into play. And, I think, and I just saw someone like a U.S. Treasury person or something was saying it's going to be great for revenue. And I was like, for who? Like, not for the consumer, not for the
not for
American
us.
people,
Yeah.
because any business that gets a fee raised on them, whether it be a tariff, whether it be an expense that they have and there's inflation or healthcare or whatever, they're going to pass that most times, more times than not, they're going to pass that along to the consumers.
Yeah.
Why? Because the business can't continue to absorb all of the inflation. It can't absorb all of that and still run at the way that it was running before. Why? I'm running a business. I know this. Like,
Yeah.
our expenses have increased dramatically, but you have to figure out ways to navigate that. And if you have something as stiff as a 25% or 15 or 10, even 10% tariff on all goods, like, bro,
Yeah.
they're not paying that.
Exactly.
Guess who's paying that? You.
Yeah.
You are paying that,
Yeah.
not them. So,
Exactly.
and that's inflationary. So that means that prices go up on goods, which means that's an inflationary measure. So that's also why the markets are dumping, because he has these tariffs in play, and it's just like the markets are like, yo, that's an inflationary measure. That's not good.
Sure.
Like, so the markets are spooked out, and he runs off of emotion. So he just be saying shit, and it's just crazy right now, man. He runs off of emotion, and that's a bad precedent for the markets. Markets don't like that. They like predictability. They don't like unpredictability.
Oh yeah.
So that's my take.
With how much the markets are down, do you think this is a perfect time for investors to get in with stocks, with crypto, with everything?
Actually, yes. I think so let's look back at so here's some game. Here's some good game. If you're like I'm in the crypto world. So if you're in the crypto world, one metric that I like to look at is the fear and greed. And this is just like a basic overall. I'm not giving you like any crazy alpha that no one talks about, like no one's ever told you, but the fear and greed index basically shows, like, look at this. So here's where we're at. Let's say the last 30 days. It's been down pretty bad. Let's say a year. Yeah. So, okay. The top of the fear and greed, we were really hot in November. Let's see. The last time that it was really hot was back in March. So again, when you're in these markets and if you're looking to make money and you're looking for what the sell signal is, one of the easy ones that you can look at is the fear and greed index. And right now it's down here. This is buy time. Buy low, sell high is what they say. So when I say, you ask me, is it a good time to buy? And I say, hell yeah. This is the time when you buy and you buy and you buy. Because things are at the bottom. They're at the lows. But it's it's easier said than done, because like the sentiment is terrible usually when it's down here. But look we haven't been down here yet. In 2024, we never even got this low. I haven't looked at January, but I imagine January didn't just dip straight down. So we haven't been here in a long time. So we're at a generational bottom, actually, not a generational, but like we're at a local bottom.
For sure.
And so
the past year, I have told people that if Bitcoin hits 100, in order for it to go up to 120 or 150, it's going to have to come back down to 75 or 80 before that.
Yeah, agreed.
So, I mean, this is the first big pullback since going to 100, because it's been hovering still around, 90 to 100 this whole time. But now that it has this, I think that now it might come back down a little bit more, but I think it's going to end up pushing to 120, 130.
Yep, I agree 100%. Like, and I think that, when the easy metric, I remember when it was sitting at 88, the fear and greed was sitting at 88, and I was sitting there looking at my bags like, man, this is fun. This is dope. I should have been taking profit. And I didn't, because I knew that this year was going to be super bullish. So I just sat, I'm just sitting on my positions. Really. I'm not really doing much. I didn't plan on buying this year. But I do have my DCAs still running. So DCA, for those listening who may not know, is a dollar cost average, meaning I just basically buy Bitcoin every week. So every week it just gets automatically deducted, just like a savings or anything like that, but it's just Bitcoin. And I do that for Solana and Bitcoin. And so that's just how I roll. And I don't care about the price action. I really don't. I just DCA. I'm buying down here and I'm buying up, like I'll
For
turn
sure.
it off if it gets real hot. Like if it gets fear and greed gets up in the 80s or the 60s or the 70s, that's when I'll turn my DCAs off because I'm
Sure.
like, all right, we're overheated kind of right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna be buying the top.
No, yeah.
So
Man.
I use that fear and greed index sometimes
Yeah.
just to see like where we're at. And a lot of times when it's in the greed section, it's hard to take profits, man, because
Oh,
you
for
think
sure.
everything's going to the moon. And it's just like, bruh,
Exactly.
you just saw the
Exactly.
chart.
Yep.
So I think
Uh,
it's a good time. What about do you think is a good time to buy a house? Like let's say not just crypto, but like housing or anything like
yeah.
that?
And just like crypto, I mean, you're thinking of the future. Like, what about
Mm.
10, 15 years from now? I think that same thing, 10, 15 years from now, I mean, you're never going to see these prices again. And the rates would technically be irrelevant. But same as crypto right now, people are looking at Bitcoin, $80,000 and thinking, this isn't going to do anything for me. I think with homes, it's just affordability. I mean,
Mm.
seeing which it's hard to be able to buy something right now being if you're single, like if you're a single mom,
Yeah, yeah.
dad, it's hard unless you're making, pulling in 150, maybe 200 a year. Like I know here, I think average prices, if you want to buy something that's, at least 500, 550 here, which is, that might only get you up in certain parts of town. You got a household has to make, I think, close to 130 or 140.
Mm.
So, I think right now it's tough for first time home buyers, and single parent homes, but I still think it's a good time to buy because once the rates do come back down, what do you think the price is going to do? They're going to shoot
Yeah,
right back up.
yeah.
So that's the tough part about it. I mean, same thing, same with crypto, easier said than done. But I think that if someone buys right now, 15 years from now, it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
You're going to
you're right.
still have the equity and, um,
Speaking of, I think I have a graph for that. Let me see if I have that same one up. This is what we went over this on the Pierce County median sales, just so people can see what this looks like. This is a good one. Yeah, now that I'm glad that you brought this up. Let's see here. It's opening it up. Man, I don't know. My computer's been tripping the last, like, it's just been so slow. I need a new computer. Trump is actually messing up. The orange man is messing up my situation because I was thinking I was going to be able to buy a new computer by now. I thought my Miggles would pump, and Miggles is sitting like 4 cents or something, which I'm good. I'm fine. I'm actually in a good position on Miggles. Like, I bought so low that I'm still up. I'm still up to 2x, 3x right now. But let's see here. I'm going to share my screen. In here. Yeah. Basically what I'm gonna bring up is the median price. Here it is. So can you see that? All right. So basically right here, can you see my mouse
yep.
moving? All right, perfect. So yeah, so this is 2007 right here. So we had 2000. So year 2000, we had this is Pierce County median sales price. And you had the market peak was August 2007 at 285,000 in 2007 in Pierce County. So, and then we corrected for the next like 3-4 years. So, I mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen again, but I'm saying I would be leery right now and I'm not saying you're going to buy the top. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but I am saying that when you're buying right now, I do believe that the prices will at some they'll just flatline maybe. You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
know if we're gonna go through this deep of a recession. Even if we do, the reason why this looks the way it does is because we had a housing recession this time. Like it was because of the housing market. It was because of the mortgages is why we had the recession. I don't believe the next recession is going to be because of the housing market. It might be because of the crypto market. It might be because of something else. Like I just don't think the housing is going to be at the center of that.
Yeah.
And so that's why I believe this happened the way it did and for how long it did. But that's not to say that we can't have a correction, but I feel like we already just did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this was the top right here. And then we crashed really hard, really fast. This is
What
22,
that like
23.
me? Yep.
And now we're on the way back up.
Mhm.
I feel like this trajectory, this line that we have right here, I believe will keep going. It's not going to be a straight line, but the trend line says that we're going this direction. Now, will we have a correction somewhere off the thing over here? That remains to be seen. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. But look at this, man. Like from the market bottom and the 2012 and 450 median all the way up to, 560, 56,000. Man, that's just crazy to look at.
Wow.
So,
and so
yeah.
right now, I know your kids are older now. If you're starting from zero with, let's say, a newborn right now, this might be a hot take. Would you try to buy Bitcoin for your kids, or a 529 plan, or put money into Roth IRA?
Man,
you might have a bigger return. If you're talking, you have to think about the future. So now it's like, okay, this is thinking about the kids' college. So let's say 18 years from now, is it better right now to buy a Bitcoin versus put money into those things? Because the 529 plan or even the Roth IRA, I mean, I don't know, if your kid has a full Bitcoin in the next 18 years, it's beating returns on all those.
They're gonna have a lot. They're gonna do very well. That's a great question.
Yeah,
I like diversity. I like safety. I think, and I'll just tell you just straight up, I'll use real numbers, or just, because we do have we started a 529 plan for both our boys. And one of them is at school right now. And as we were looking around, that 529 plan that we had, and we maxed out. So we maxed out his 529, right? And it's like, it's under 100 or something like that. But like and we've been working on that for a long time, right? And now when you look at the tuition, it might pay, like depending on the school, it might pay 1 year, depending on what school you want to go to. It might pay. And so I'm sitting there telling them, like, but if you're at a state school, like a Central or something like that, it can get you through maybe 2.5 to 3. When you factor in housing, you factor in all the other stuff, he's going to have to get a job. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like you max out your 529 and all of a sudden you have all the money in the world to go to all four. It's all paid for. It don't work like that. And especially from now moving forward, it's not going to work like that. So it's a challenging one, because yes, I do believe Bitcoin will outperform a 529 plan 100%. 100%. But I also know that the 529 is pretty easy. I don't have to self-custody it. I don't have to, there's a lot I don't have to do. But for example, right now, I am, my percentage on what I'm putting towards my 401k, I'm actually taking a percentage of that away and putting it into Bitcoin. So that's why I say I dollar cost average it. That's because that's the money that's supposed to really go towards my 401k. Even though I do have still money going towards that, I'm also dollar cost averaging Bitcoin as well with a percentage of it.
No, for sure. Because that's where I'm at right now. Is like, okay, should the 529 plan? Because I got a 6, a 3, and a 10, 11, almost 11 month old.
So got.
So it's like, hey, should I, start working on this Roth IRA, the 529 plan, or should I just start stacking Bitcoin for them and just leave that for them when they turn 18 and they could be set? And that,
I know where Bitcoin's going.
Exactly.
I think if it were me, I'd say yes. To me, I'm a degenerate though. I'm a digital asset person. I think it's a safe play. Based on my experience and what I just experienced with my own children right now in real time this year. He decided to go TCC. And because how I told him, I reverse engineered it. I was like, here's what it's going to look like. Here's how much you're going to owe coming out of college. Here's how much in debt you're going to be. That's how I think about it. And so I was like, okay. And so he was like, dang, okay, so I could do 2 years there and come out with no debt. I was like, yep.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it comes down.
Easy choice.
And it's like, the sooner you can figure out what you want to do, because with me, I wish I had someone in my corner tell me about, my major. Because I did some hard ass. I'm a business major. I'm a business degree. And it's like, that shit didn't show me how to be an entrepreneur. I didn't learn entrepreneurship until after I graduated. Other than that, they were real good at teaching me how to be a employee. Like, I had my statistics down. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, I mean, it's also different because it's like, I'm there for, basketball as well. But
Yeah.
just thinking about it, it's like, man, like I want what of those 4 or 5 years would have set me up in entrepreneurship at all? Like now,
Yeah.
if my son is 18 and he wants to be an entrepreneur, why the hell would you go to college? Why? We
Man.
have YouTube now. We have people have sell their own courses now. You can
Yep.
learn anything you want to learn if you lock in for 1 year, and it won't
Shit, you
cost
can
you
take
more.
Harvard courses. You can take Harvard 100 courses.
Yeah.
They're free. You can take Harvard
Oh
100
yeah.
courses.
And it's like, in terms of being an entrepreneur, you do not need to go to college. There's no one, no professor that's an entrepreneur that will teach you that type of stuff.
I agree
Um,
with that.
so I mean,
I agree
obviously,
with
if
that.
there's some things you want to do. I'm just talking about in terms of being an entrepreneur. You don't
Hmm.
need college.
No,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot. I think what you learn in college in terms of being an entrepreneur, from my experience, is the soft skills, the starting something and finishing it. You know what I'm saying? Like the writing, the networking, um, the projects that you might do, working with other people at a high level. And I think it's like about the pressure of finishing something with a group of people and being graded
Yeah.
on it. Like, and
Yeah.
having like, whereas if you don't do that and you don't go through that, it's the school of hard knocks. So, I mean, I'm not saying you don't get that. I'm not saying that you can't be smart and all those other things and do that without it either. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying overall, those are just some of the benefits I feel like from college. Is more about, it's for me, it's less about the content and
Oh
more
yeah.
about all the soft skills and stuff
Oh,
that
for
you learn,
sure.
and
I
how
I
to
just think
advocate for
about.
yourself in a system and all that
Oh
other kind of
yeah. I just
stuff.
think about me in the middle of season taking taking calculus, taking business law, and taking economics, all in the middle of season. And it's
Yeah,
like,
you ain't getting
damn,
nothing out of that, bro.
bro, now that I'm older,
I'm
it's like, what
sorry.
the fuck am I
You
doing?
just
Like,
trying to pass.
man, it's like it's I don't want to say pointless, but it was damn near for what I want to do. Um,
Yeah,
I knew I wanted to be a businessman, but
yeah,
for what I was trying to do, it was pointless, man. I mean,
yeah, yeah. I agree. The one thing that I do, accounting helped me. Like accounting,
yes,
like, so now when I look at, so even when we just opened up a bow, for example, like, and I can look at a balance sheet. I already know I taught accounting. Like, I know
yeah.
accounting. So I taught accounting and I had to go to school for accounting.
Mhm.
And so, and just basic, I'm not saying I'm like hella good at, like, I ain't gonna do nobody's books, but I can look at our P&Ls and our balance sheets and whatnot and know how to navigate that a little bit easier. It's not foreign, I guess. I didn't have to
Oh
learn.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just looked at it and it was already familiar. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, I know how to do this, whatever.
No, for sure. Like
So
with me,
that helped.
when I took my accounting classes, I was 18, 19. And then by the time I needed to use it at age, let's
You
say
done forgot.
26, I forgot all of it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And now
You
I
done forgot it.
understand why I had 30, 40-year-olds in my class. You
Mm-hmm.
know? Like, because and I'm thinking like, what the fuck are y'all doing here? Like, man, y'all wrap this shit up. But now I understand it now. Like, they might see me in there again. I
In there
might double
asking all kinds of deep questions. You like, man, why you stop asking questions?
in.
Man, they
Facts.
like 35 years old. They got to go home to kids, and
Bro,
like, they
I'm
really
telling
need this info.
you, facts. And I now I notice that though. Like before, I'm thinking like, man, we trying to get out of here, man.
Yeah, that's funny. Um, yeah, man, it's a good time to buy. Like, like, and I guess that's a good segue into this other one. Like, we talked about wealthiest people in the U.S. Here's the video. I'm gonna show the video real quick. We going real heavy on the investing side, but we got some more hoop stuff in just a minute. Let's see.
Hey,
That brother
the
was cooking.
the 400 wealthiest white people in the country have more wealth than all 41 million black people in the country. Yeah, that's
That's
crazy.
wild, man. That's an
That's a
insane
crazy
stat.
stat. That stat's crazy. And it's not like there ain't no black millionaires and billionaires. So that's what's
Right.
saying. That just shows those top 400 how much money they got. That's crazy.
And I think when you think about it like this, and I feel like the schools do a terrible job. The K through 12 public education, in my opinion, does a terrible job at teaching slavery and like the impacts of slavery. Not just teaching slavery, but the impacts right now of it. I feel like in social studies and other classes, like, yes, it's important to learn, what happened around the world, but I feel like we spend a little bit too much time on that versus the impacts of racism in our country. I feel like that's way more relevant to everybody than, say, whether flipping, I don't know, just some Russian leader. You need to know about that, but like, you don't need to spend a whole semester on it. You don't need to spend a whole, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh yeah.
so I guess the point I'm getting at is you have 400 years plus of indenture, of people being enslaved, black people being enslaved, and many other people as well, but predominantly black people. Um, and they are building wealth. Not only are they enslaved and can't do anything, but they're also at the same time building wealth. They are the first major big supercomputer, but it just happened to be people, and they were sharecropping. Like, that's the business. The business was the biggest business boom was, you know what I mean? Cotton and
Yeah.
sharecropping,
Hmm.
and building. They literally built businesses on the backs with the labor of black people for 400 plus years.
Oh yeah.
400, like 400,
No, yeah, facts.
400, 4 centuries. So that's a long time to build wealth and amass wealth. And then you have Jim Crow, you have,
Yep.
how you have other, to even today, where you have systemic racism. And so I'm not surprised at the number. It should be that way, honestly, based on what's happened.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, just the fact that businesses were built like that. Like, we think about slavery like it wasn't a business. Like,
Yeah.
we weren't helping people amass godly amounts of wealth.
Yeah.
Like, that's what was happening for free.
No, facts. Facts.
I don't know. I just feel like I never thought of it that way when I was coming up. I just looked at how
Yeah.
bad it was and yada, yada, yada. But I never looked at it from a business perspective and a money perspective. No one ever taught me that in school.
No, yeah, not at all. And they're not going to teach that though. I mean, they're going to bring it up, 1 month out of the year, and
Yeah.
and they're going to teach you what they want to teach you. Like, I mean, I remember not learning. I didn't everything I learned about really Black History Month still came after graduating.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't want to teach you about Malcolm X. They want to teach you about Martin Luther King. And they pick what they want to show you. They don't want
Yeah.
to give you too much history at all.
Yeah.
Why in high school I didn't learn about Black Wall Street? Why?
Met. Or, and that's the crazy part. I had to learn about all of this stuff like recently. I've read so many books. I was just posting this week about the medical racism. It is it is the last day of Black History Month, y'all. So I mean, we're gonna
Yeah.
might as well. I was just talking about, a lot of people don't understand the amount of racism in medicine, and
Oh,
how much
100%.
like it's crazy. There's hospitals with bones, like whole, like graveyards of bones of
Yeah.
enslaved people that they were just doing
Really, yeah.
work on and testing things with no
Yep.
anesthesia,
Yep.
pulling the person from their family,
Yep.
the women from their family, and saying, we're going to do this procedure. In terms of, like, could you imagine if someone just took T and was just like, yep, we're taking her, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You don't even know what they're doing.
Exactly. And
It's
even when they're
barbaric, bro.
no facts, even when them tricking people, you think about the Tuskegee with all the Black
Man,
airport. And,
that's
and
happened.
speaking of that, Trump just took that out of the manuals. So now moving forward, Air Force people won't even learn about that. So they're trying to erase
Yeah.
that from history. But yeah, that them giving all Black pilots syphilis, talking about we want to see how their body responds. Like, what?
The crazy part is, when you read the book, that is probably the most unbarbaric one of
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of them.
Oh yeah.
Like Marion Sims. Marion Sims is the dude who gynecology. Like, he's the guy who's the person, like, even now today he's seen as the one, right, in gynecology. And he used to do all his work on enslaved Black women. That's how he learned how to do all these things, like, with no anesthesia. Some of them died, a lot of them died in hospitals. And I'm like, they're not teaching this. And so as a result, there's a Harvard study. I wish I could find it. I would find it at some point, maybe on a different show. but there's a Harvard study from, I think it's like 2018 or 2001 or 2000, somewhere around there. And a majority of them subconsciously answered their questions, and it came out basically saying that they have a bias that Black people, and Black women especially, can withstand more pain than white people. So that's why when you look at the data, Black women are less likely to receive pain medication. Black women are more likely to die during pregnancy. Black women are at the bottom of all of that, and it all stems from the biases that they had from back in the 1800s and 1800s when they were doing all this. Man, I read the book Medical Apartheid, and it's thick as hell. I had to stop reading it. I couldn't read a lot of it at one time, or else I would like be in a really dark place. I seriously, I'm not even joking. Like, it was so grotesque that I could not I was like, what am I reading right now? Like, it's not even real. And no one talks about that. Henrietta Lacks is another one. You know, there's all kinds of stories I could tell. But anyway, yeah, not to get down that tangent, but that wealthy number is crazy.
Really is.
That's crazy. Let's move on. We got a few more things on here. Let's see. Let's talk about nasty NBA narratives. we gonna just go ahead and flip the script. We going all the way into some different shit.
For real.
Nasty NBA narratives. Recently you had you know, I think who was coming? Oh, LeBron had just said, like, that why would Ant want to be the face of the NBA, because they got to take on all the criticism from all and be talked down on and all that stuff, and he was basically saying they don't do that in any other sports, pretty much. I'm paraphrasing here. They don't do that in other sports. They only do that in basketball, it seems like. And I kind of agree with them.
I agree with them. No, I agree with that. They tear down. I mean, that's what they have. I mean, if you turn on ESPN, every single commentator, you know, Stephen A., all them guys, they're going to be talking bad about NBA players. They're going to be attacking their character. If a player switches teams to a different team, no matter where they go, you're going to have a bad narrative. You know what I'm saying? Like
for real.
But think how happy the world was when Saquon signed with the Eagles, and how mad everyone was at KD when he signed with the Warriors. They attacked his character about it, you know? So it's like, I agree with that. NBA players get attacked for everything they do. You know, they can't do nothing right.
And even think about KD. Luka. Yeah, Luka. Yeah, they call him
like bro, you just took your team to the NBA Finals at 25. You're 5-time first team All NBA. You get rid of him, and now your whole organization only talks bad. He drinks too much beer. He smokes hookah.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, Michael Jordan was off the cigars.
Bro, you don't want to know what Mike was doing. Mike was outside. You see how yellow his eyes are right now, bro.
What? And no one's saying. It's like, look at let's just say he did drink beers and smoke hookah. Okay,
that's what Euros be doing. We don't know the Euro joints.
European, you're off the brewskis after every. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's how they rock.
Like, I don't, and the numbers he was doing in Dallas, I mean, he's 35-point triple doubles. Man,
he was going.
Let him do whatever he wants. Actually, let him smoke a black and mild before the game. Whatever he wants. He's cooking shit up.
On the bench.
It's working. It's working.
That might be the problem. He might need to have some drink in his little Gatorade cup in LA. That might be the issue right now.
Exactly.
Why he can't make a shot, because he's seeing too straight. He might need to see a couple of hoops.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're talking about I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, give him his brewskis.
Yeah, no, I was actually having that conversation about, I just felt like it seemed like the NBA, I'm sick of looking at, like, I was thinking about KD, and I'm like, KD's probably the best scorer I've ever seen in real life. I've watched him practice, literally just have a practice with him. He was with the Nets, and he was the most amazing player I think I've ever seen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen somebody score as easily as he could. And I just basically was just like, why are we we've spent probably half his career hating on the man. You know what I'm saying? We've spent so much time hating on him, and he's the coolest superstar too. I've met him multiple times. He's hella cool. and all he
Yeah.
wants to do is hoop, and all he wants to do is just get buckets, and all he
Oh
wants to
yeah.
do is chill and smoke and chill. And I'm like, why do we talk so much mess about KD? He's the coolest
Yeah.
dude out here. Like, I
That's what I'm
want him on
saying.
my team 10 times out of 10. I want him on my team.
Exactly.
And
Exactly,
so
man.
it just didn't make sense to me, man.
I just think it's like that with a lot of these like media companies and stuff anyway. I mean, they don't get joy out of posting guys when they do their charities and when they're doing all the good work, but they love to
Yeah.
find something bad. Like, think about how they demonize Kyrie. Like,
Yeah,
they
Kyle is
want
a
people to
perfect
think
example of
Kyrie
that.
was a bad person, and it's like Kyrie stood on what he stood on, which there's no
Mm-hmm.
problem with that. And then you're
Yep.
doing all the stuff behind the scenes. You're for the people. You're, man, and they push the narrative that he was just a bad, selfish person, and it's like, for
Yep.
what? And I tell you, yeah, I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, that the narratives is nasty, man. And you have actual whole human beings that have had their whole career based on hating on a player.
Yeah,
Skip
yeah,
Bayless, Jason Whitlock,
yep,
Stephen A. even was a hater back in the, like Kwame Brown. Remember Kwame Brown
yeah,
narrative?
yeah,
Like,
yep.
he almost ruined that man's career single-handedly, in my opinion. Him
No,
and
yeah,
Jordan. Jordan didn't do him any
yeah,
favors either. Let's be real. Jordan, like, berated him into, he was the number one pick, bro.
no,
Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying he was good. I'm not saying he was worth, but he just wasn't worth all of that. Like, pouring it on him did
no,
not make
yeah,
sense. And I feel like Kwame Brown got done dirty too.
for
But
sure.
the NBA narratives, that seems to only happen in the NBA. I've noticed when you look around and you look at Charles Barkley and you look at Shaq and how they talk about the game now. Give me KG, man. The TNT
No,
crew is done. Like, I
yeah,
don't want to watch them anymore. Like, give me
yeah,
KG and Paul Pierce. Give me
yeah,
Gil.
yeah. Give me
Give me,
Melo.
keep
Yeah,
Rashad. Give me Melo. If you did
yep.
that, bro, Melo, Gil, uh, uh, who'd I say? Melo, Gil. Who
KG.
else? KG, and even
Yep.
Paul Pierce. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Put those four or even three of them. Don't put Paul up there. Maybe he
No, it.
Paul gonna get you in trouble too. Just
Yeah,
listen.
facts.
He already been on ESPN.
Yeah,
But
facts.
I like P though. P is the truth.
No,
But
yeah.
still, like, I think keep Rashad McCants off there too. I used to like him at NC, but man, that brother's takes be all over the place. But still, like, it's time to move on. Like,
No,
with
yeah.
dudes that actually like the game. Even Candace Parker.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get some people up there. That D Wade is good.
No,
Like,
yeah.
there's too much talent out there to just keep rolling with these dudes that that want to talk nasty about all the new players. They don't even watch the games. You can
No,
tell
yeah.
I know more about the game than they do.
Exactly. And that's what they need to get back to is bring some people around that are gonna talk that love the game and bring excitement. Like, bring like what Dickie V did with college basketball. Like, man,
Facts.
you know what I'm saying? Like, he has so much passion and loved the players and the game and built it
Facts.
up. Like, we need more guys around like that. You know what I'm saying? That
Yep.
that build the game up, talk about players' characters and what they do on and off the court. Like
Facts.
just more love in the game. That's that. Yeah, Dickie V was
That's
shout out to Dickie V.
Yeah, shout out Dickie V. He got me loving college hoop,
For
boy.
real.
I used to love me some Dickie V, man. Um, yeah, that's I think. Oh, last one. Embiid's out for the season.
Man,
Damn, that's
he,
crazy.
he's toxic, man. He's
He said he's toxic.
he got his nah. He's too cool, man. He's been playing this shit too cool. Like, I don't like his how they've had his like attitude. Really, the like, I don't know. You got great players around you.
Yeah,
Young guys, Embiid, all those guys, and I don't like sitting out games and all the stuff. Like, I don't know. It's I feel like the past year, maybe he's just out of the organization. You've seen that a lot too, like where they don't
yeah,
like organization and there's stuff going on behind the scenes.
yeah.
But I mean, he hasn't played too many games the last season or two, so it's just like, I don't know. I feel like he wanted a way out. He wants to go somewhere else. And you can kind of tell.
Yeah. Here's a question I got for you, man. Should players podcast during the season? Because I seen Paul George is about to hang up the podcast to help his team on a
Yeah.
championship run. I'm like, brother, that time is too late. You just lost MB for the season. You might want to just go ahead and stay on the podcast,
He
brother.
might as well
Like,
caught up. I think that is tough, like, to consistently try to have a pod throughout the season just because you got so much stuff going on, and that shouldn't you're getting paid so much, you shouldn't even be worried about other stuff like that. You should have a team for that, I guess. Like when you got
Yeah.
other ventures, you got a team that's running stuff. And Paul Pierce's not Paul Pierce, Paul George's situation, it's like they're on a road trips to do whatever. I don't know. I get why he wants to step away from it for a little bit and focus on the season, because it's just, I feel like it's too much. Like I feel like if I have a bad game or I'm going through a losing streak or something, I'm not gonna want to hop on a pod.
Yeah. Fact.
Now, that's gonna be the last thing I want. The last thing I want to do when I'm in those slumps is talk. And so I get him stepping away. It's just tough in terms of like business things, because pod, you got to be front facing with things. When other business stuff, you could be in the background and let other people control it. So I think that's what's tough about trying to run a good podcast is when you're in and out of season. So
yeah, I mean, we're doing it right now. You see how hard it is with this. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. It's hard to keep it. It's easy to start. It's easy to start. It's very hard to sustain.
Oh yeah,
that's how I feel about it. And yeah, it's gonna take some. I know we all just say, "Oh, but you're just sitting down." No, you got to think about what you're gonna say. You got to think about the topics. There's planning that's involved. You got to spend the time in general just to do it. Like there's a lot that comes, and then you might say something that causes some ruffles some feathers, and now all of a sudden you're in the headlines. Like I just feel like you have to be really cognizant of like how you move and how you say and how you talk, and that's brain juice. You still have to use brain juice to navigate that, which is brain juice that you're using that should be on the season. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that maybe you do it once a month or something. Like maybe
for sure once a month. But like you said, like ruffling feathers, and then now there's narratives coming around you. Like that's gonna
you creating the narratives.
That's gonna affect how you play. Like obviously, like Braun and KD and those guys are better at it than other people. But like it's tough for a lot of players to having shit talked about them on live TV to go into the next game and try to perform.
That's like interesting.
That's why I even commend Bronny, like to have all that pressure on you and that much people talking shit. And let's not even talk about the NBA games. Knowing how much they're going to talk bad about you when you go in and drop 30 in G League. Like that's hard. It's hard to go out and perform when you know that people are talking bad, because now you're going into a game thinking that that's how everyone thinks sometimes, So I think that it's different for some guys that are, in terms of mental toughness, that some people really just don't care. But you see a lot of guys that come in as, top 1, top 2, top 3 picks that they immediately start talking bad about them in the media, and the players fall off. Like, I think, like, when's the last time, who was number 1 pick? Anthony Bennett. Where's he at? People talk bad about him, and like now that would cause some players to go into shooting slumps. If you have a bad free throw shooting night and they talk about it, how you went 2 for 8 from the free throw line, you're probably going to shoot bad free throws again next game if you're not mentally tough. If you're thinking you're a bad shooter because that's what ESPN just said. So
it'd be interesting. Here's a hot take. I think it'd be interesting to see the Jordans of the world, the Kobe's. Kobe was kind of on the fringe of that. But Jordan, it would have been interesting to see how the media, because I know that when I was growing up, the media, they were slobbing him. They were glazing like hella hard. There was no media personality that was just against Jordan. There was none of that. Like everybody was glazing. They were calling him the best player ever after 2 championships, bro.
Yeah.
I remember that because I remember the old heads like they were fighting it. They were like, yeah, nah, that's not. And I was like, yeah, he is. I would be like, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So I just feel like that those narratives, I think, would have been interesting to watch Jordan in the social media era. I don't know if it would bother him that much because he was such a dog, but it would have been interesting to see how it impacted him. I got other hot takes about his father's death and his gambling and all of those other things, but we'll save that for a whole nother pod because we're getting towards the end. Let's talk about like put me on to something, man. What you want? Anything?
My sister just put me on a show. We actually started last night. Paradise on.
I heard about that.
Yeah, my big sis put me on that. We watched episode 1 last night, and it started off it started off good, and I'm actually probably gonna watch that tonight. Actually, yeah,
Oh, for real?
it's
Okay.
dope. It's only one season. They just got approved for a season 2, but it started off dope.
Is it like a reality show or is it like a show?
Nah, it's like it's a security. He's security for the president, and
Oh, okay.
I mean I won't give too much. I won't give too much.
Yeah.
Actually, it says it on there. Before I showed it, it says that basically the president gets offed, and then
Okay.
that's how the show starts though. Like
Okay.
yeah, so that episode 1, it starts off with exactly what it says in the caption, and I know for a fact it's gonna get better and better.
Yeah, that seems fire. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tap in, man. Shoot, put me on. What am I on? Court of Gold. I actually did watch it. Did you watch it?
I'll watch the whole thing. That shit's hard.
Yeah. So Court of Gold has come out. I thought that was fire, and like I enjoyed the USA basketball. I didn't know I was getting a whole series, so
Yeah,
I
they
was
know.
really
Yeah.
actually really dope. And what it made me think about was USA basketball and how we're coming up, because I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of concerned if we're going to be able to
Yeah.
continue this win streak in the
Yeah,
Olympics.
it's taking, let's just say 4 years. You're taking Braun, KD, Steph, all off that team.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're going to have Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Like, here's what I'm thinking, bro. We need Cooper Flag to be him. We need Paolo. I think P5 is going to be a perfect guy to fill in.
Absolutely.
P5, people forget about him. He's balling down in Orlando. I think he's the next thing to LeBron. I think he's got Bron's game.
Yeah. He dropped 40-something last night.
Yeah, he's him. He's Bron-like. He's Bron-like. And I think you're going to need guys like him to take on Wemby, because Wemby ain't going nowhere anytime soon.
Exactly.
And there's no other Wembys on the planet. So you got Joker. You're gonna need some other big dudes, pause, to like take on these guys. Pause. Like you're gonna really need, I don't know. So Cooper Flag, I need you to be him, bro.
You think Cooper Flag's going number 1?
I think so. I mean,
I think Cooper
over
Flag,
Ace or
Ace
the
and
other
Dylan.
bull. Yeah, Dylan's crazy. I just think Cooper Flag has some things that you can't. It's like Scoot versus I think there's a lot of 2 guards, there's a lot of shifty guards. We were just talking about that in our thing, like why Malachi don't got a spot, and I'm like, there's just not enough spots there's not enough spots on the rosters. There's way more talent than there is spots. I'm not saying that those 2 ain't cold. Those 2 are crazy. Trey Johnson's cold too, from Texas.
Yeah, sure.
That boy's nasty. I like some of the college players.
The
but
big man from the freshman from Maryland's kind of nice too. You seen him?
I haven't seen him. I ain't seen him.
He's kind of nice. I think he might sneak into the top. I don't want to say top 5, but he might sneak in the top 10 easy. He's cold.
Okay. I can't wait for March Madness, man. We're gonna have man, it's March, bro. Like, this is the best time to watch hoop right now.
Yeah.
We're going into the league tourneys and March Madness. Like, man. Yeah. Anyway. Well, man, I'm glad we got our tech issues worked out. And hopefully tomorrow by this time we'll be able to go live, and so people will be able to tap in that way too. We got some dope guests coming up. We got high school tournaments this weekend. We got state championships. You're actually sponsoring a team. So we'll have a lot to talk about next week. I'm gonna try to just go ahead and get this one up ASAP. But yeah, man, appreciate you joining on and pushing me to continue to just push through these tech issues we're dealing with, because that's just been a bummer. But I was sick last week, so we'll get back on the horse and get back on a routine, man. But yeah, with that, man, brick by brick, tune in next week. Y'all already know what it is. All right, peace. Yeah, that was a good little, man. We were brick by brick.